policy where?
But how you gonna help the environment if you got no energy?
I understand. You can make that argument the next time to your constituency. So foreign policy. So what did you put foreign policy?
I put it 10.
10? Well, 10 is not going to work, so we already have that bill. So, final number 1. So what did you put? 9? Yeah. I was born and raised in Harlem. Anyone from Harlem?
All of us.
Oh, wow. Pretty cool, pretty cool. These movies kind of depict how Harlem was when I was growing up, and it was rough. Harlem made so many changes, but before many of the beautiful buildings and banks and New York sport clubs and Starbucks were around, before the farmer markets, they were drug markets. So you know how people might say, hey, you want to check out my cabbage or watermelon or raw honey? People were literally trying to sell drugs on the street openly. That was the environment I was in. And along with the selling of the drugs, the competition of the drugs. Because of chess and music, which I feel like I owe a lot to, and more importantly, the programs that started these activities and made them available for me, I was able to sort of maneuver past the temptations of the street. I recently got on Twitter, so I'm doing my thing. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on IG, holla at your boy. So I went from music to philosophy to history and to politics, and so I'm going to talk about politics now. So why politics matters? I'll explain a little bit why it matters to me, and then I'll pose a question to you. Politics matter to me because I was kind of thinking about like why my neighborhood was so rough and tough, and then when I went to other neighborhoods, it wasn't as rough and tough. I was concerned about resources and all these questions. Also, I was wondering why the police would be a little different in certain communities. And so all these questions and many more began to just get me thinking about why, what's going on. And long story short, I got into politics. And I saw politics as being something very vital to the answer, whatever the answer would be. I realized that politics matters. Even if I'm involved in it or not, somebody's making a choice, somebody's making certain decisions. And I wanted to know what those decisions are and who are making those decisions. So, why politics matter? Well, it depends on how you understand and define politics. And so, what I would like to do with you very quickly is ask you, what does politics mean to you? Anybody else want to share what politics is?
Different factors that play into what happens.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
What about tyrants?
Okay, yeah, that kind of put tyrants up here. So I think if we put all this together here, we can probably get a good example of what politics is. At least we can get a historical grounding and a philosophical grounding. So let's start with this concept here, the power struggle. Politics definitely has something to do with struggles for power, which means people are probably debating what should be done, if not fighting, maybe fighting or debating. And which obviously contradiction plays a role in this because people are not seeing things on the same page, or they're maybe reading the same page but interpreting issues differently. These words refer to the structure of power that many people debate about. So monarchy means to be ruled by one person, right? Maybe a king or queen or tyrant. And oligarchy means to be ruled by well, yeah, by the few, okay? And then democracy means, yeah, so monos one, always few, and demos people. Many civilizations, many different cultures have tried these different power structures. And most modern states now are more or less trying democracy, which is like power to the people, and there's different ways to have democracy. So Aristotle, you mentioned Aristotle, right? What's your name? So Aristotle discusses all of these issues here, but he discusses these three frameworks and he also says something else. He said that, and let me know what you think about it and if you agree, that human beings are political animals. He says beasts can do it. Some beasts can just hunt by themselves. They have what they need. They have fur and they're satisfied. They don't need to be entertained. They don't need a sports club. And they certainly don't need to go to school to learn anything or read any books. They just maybe have fun with other animals, sleep, at night or in the day, and then hunt during the other parts of the day. So for him, beasts, for example, animals, wild animals, that can live without being with others. Although there are some exceptions, we do. Another example he gives are, it said angels or God. You can see an angel or God not needing to collaborate with someone because the God would be able to just provide its needs. And if it's a real God, probably wouldn't have any urges or needs. So he goes, because human beings are not beasts or gods or angels or divine creatures, they need to work together. What do you think about that? Or polis, sorry, P-O-L-I-S, right? Okay, this is the city. So politicals are the things of the city, the affairs of the city, meaning resources, safety, entertainment, food, all of this. And that people need all these things. And we attend to these things, the politicals. Now, we might have differences of opinion of who gets to do what or how much resources should be allocated. In either case, for him, that's something that we have to do. So, what do you think about his definition now, his claim? Human beings should have the chance to live a good life. But in order to live that good life, they need to have the conditions, safety, food. And so politics serve that purpose. And so it's under life, right? So without these conditions, if we're living in a state of nature, I know some of you are in high school, you've probably heard of somebody named Thomas Hobbes, right? So Hobbes, he's famous for saying that life is short, nasty, and brute because in a state of nature, everybody's just doing what they want and they have a right to do what they want to moderate our disagreements and our needs without having to fight so that we can live what he calls a good life. A life where you can enjoy yourself, do things meaningful, play the viola. It says without having a solid, a stable community, we won't be able to do those things. So, anybody else want to add to Aristotle? What do you think about that? Some people disagree.
It wasn't about Aristotle. I have a question.
Yeah.
Between a tyranny and a monarchy.
Oh, somebody want to answer that?
Oh, tyrant or tyranny is when power is taken by force, and like a monarch.
Or totalitarian government. So a monarchy doesn't necessarily have to be an all bad thing. People might accept a monarchy. There are many civilizations, and even now people feel that it is more efficient to have one person in charge. The trick, and so my definition, which I think is probably consistent with much of what you've already said, and I'm sure there's some distinctions, is that it's the negotiation for power in all its forms. Right? The negotiation for the power structure itself, or the negotiation of the different matters within that structure. Okay? So, because of that, I just want to talk very briefly about voting. Because of that reason, voting is very important, particularly in which example? Here, here, here. And so, since we're in a democracy, voting matters because democracy says what? Oh, you mean two groups? Oh, okay, that's a good point. Wow.
Two people voting?
Well, he means
It's like
two groups. Yeah, I get what you're
saying.
saying. What does democracy say? There's something assumed here. Is it saying that everybody's going to now agree?
No.
Well, let them finish and you
Yeah,
can
it's
write.
like giving a bunch of people power instead of just giving.
Well, does it decrease the
Well,
struggle?
it actually kind of makes it worse in this case.
That's what.
Yeah. Talking about so Plato, like his student Aristotle, they recognize several virtues, but they're two overarching categories. One is the moral, one is the intellectual. So the philosopher king would have both these virtues. And I'm gonna add to your point too. I'm gonna complicate it a little bit. Yeah, I agree with everything you said, but we also have to acknowledge that there are some people who did agree with Hitler, right? Now some were coerced, right? But a great many agreed, perhaps mistakenly, because the evidence he provided, was persuasive. He was a great speaker, a very passionate, charismatic figure, and like many others we know, but he used that to his advantage. So I want to segue very quickly, and I'm going to pick up with your question, to the issue of democracy. Is that one of the issues is that what happens if the majority agrees with someone like Hitler? Like, for example, let's just keep it real. The majority of British Americans co-sign slavery. We're going to go to several issues. Each of you are now congresswomen and men representing your state. You're preparing for a meeting, and at this meeting, you want to say, I think we should go over these issues in this order. This is what I see as the most pressing issue.